Hey guys, my name's Ken. Welcome back to the channel. This time we're talking RV water filtration. If you're like us, or if you're like anyone else who's been doing this for a while, or even for a short time, you probably have one of these. This is kind of your inline hose water filter. This is pretty easy to install. It just goes on the hose on one end and then comes into the RV on the other. I've got there's a little clip of me installing this. What we've liked to do, what I really had like to do is put it on the end of the hose right before you go into the RV. I tried the other way when we first bought it, but even with the nice expensive hose that we originally had, you know, this made for water, what I did find was that there's still a hose taste. So yeah, this might filter out the RV park water, but you might still have a taste of the hose. And I don't know if that taste goes away, but I just feel like I can always taste that hose taste. So you know, we probably use this filter for about I'd say 20-ish. I think we've only camped in our RVs, you know, 20 or 30 times. So we've only had it for a couple of years, between both RVs. A couple years I was away in Japan, so I stayed parked for 2 years, but between that time we did use it quite a bit. So so this thing did see about 20 uses, and we haven't. So it's about 3 years old, and we haven't replaced it yet. But it still seems to be doing fine. And one of the problems with it, you see in the video, is this. Not a problem, but as you twist this guy in there, this is made to flex so that it can hang off the RV. And I don't like the stress that this puts on the outside of the RV. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. This hose is bent already. So the end of this hose is already bent from just hanging off the RV, even though that's what this is designed for, is to take that stress. So if you had a different type of hose, it could probably break. I don't like how the new the flexi hose we have actually attaches to this guy. It does okay, but yeah, I just feel like the seal's not great. Even though I haven't had a leak yet, I just don't feel like the seal's great. So what we did, there's some products out there you can look at on Amazon that are, you know, everything's in the box for you to do it, and a lot of the other things like this that I'm about to show and about to install hooks up outside. So you know, just kind of replaces this guy right in the old path of the hose. So you hook it into the hose, and then you hook another hose into your RV, and then you've got this big. I mean, for me, it seemed like just this monstrosity of a setup out there. So some of those cost like $200 or $300 on Amazon to run these. But what I did was went to Lowe's, and I actually found a kit that I'm going to try out. Just one filter, one inline whole house filter. It's going to be installed in our RV because the way our RV is set up, we can install this right inside underneath one of the beds in the slide out. So it's going to be kind of hidden and tucked out of the way, but still able to access and replace a filter as needed. But what I think I might do as well, and I haven't decided yet, is actually put this in line. So this guy in line, and I'm not sure what the microns are. I think this is a higher micron filter, where this guy right here is a really good, a much higher. Well, the filter itself is a 5 micron. I think these are about 20 micron typically. So maybe put this in line right at the spigot in the RV, and then run this guy later. So you actually have the 20 micron filter and then the 5 micron, and this is a carbon filter, so you really get the double setup with this guy, which is extremely cheap and easy to get at Walmart or on Amazon. So what we got here is a sediment filter from Lowe's. So this is you know, kind of in the back by their you know, by the kitchen and bath and everything else, or kitchen specifically, and plumbing, and it's just one simple cartridge filter. And then this cartridge filter, I'll open up in a second, does come with the wrench. We're about to buy a wrench, and then we opened it up and we saw here that it does include a wrench. Does not include the filter, so here's the filter as well. And then for our RV, we have to have a hose. So there's one hose coming in. You'll see that in a bit. But this hose will connect to this guy, and then the hoses there will follow on. We've also got some pipe nipples, some MPT pipe nipples that are going to go in line with this as well. So this whole house system is what it's called. Cost $21.58, so $22 for this guy, about the same as this blue one right here. The filters themselves, so these filters cost $13.48. So for this guy and this, you know, what we're looking at, 20, 35 bucks for these two, which is pretty affordable. And then this hose here costs $11. So you know, so for 50 bucks all in, I think we're going to be doing pretty well on this kit. And then we're going to we're going to go ahead and throw it in here in a second. So let's open the box up. Let me grab the pipe nipples and let's give this a shot. Alright, so before I get started, the first thing I want to do is make sure I'm not an idiot. These pipe nipples are 3/4 by 1.5 NPT, or I'm sorry, MIP. So, not NPT, but MIP. They seem to fit in this guy just fine before. We actually got one that was already out of the box and tested it in this one. But I do want to make sure that it fits in the hose. So we did test it on the hose and it seemed to fit. Yeah, so this guy fits really well in the hose, and this is what it is. It's just a brass fitting. I have seen some of these that actually have the hex, or the hex, kind of like a bolt type pattern right here on it, which would be awesome. But I didn't find any of those at Lowe's when we bought them. But yeah, let's go ahead and open this box up, see what we can do to get this going. So really, this is a here's the wrench. You have to take the wrench out first to get the filter housing out. It's really nice that it comes with a wrench, so you don't have to buy a wrench. They weren't that expensive, but yeah, it's nice that it comes with it. And then the filter housing comes right out. And then the only thing left in the box, I think, is paperwork. So you've got paperwork in here, so you can look at it. You've got $5 off with free shipping for some replacement stuff. So you might want to check that out. I don't think we're going to check that out myself personally. But this is an A.O. Smith brand. It's pretty simple to use. Let me go ahead and see if I need to use this pipe wrench already. Oh, yeah, so it's not too bad. It's on there really tight, but not terrible. I just got to get a good grip on it. So it's pretty simple with the housing here, and then this guy, the lid. These are pretty self-explanatory as well as far as how they install. I'm going to tell you, this is my first time ever. I've never actually installed one of these, so I'm going to give this a shot. I don't know if they're directional. Just looking at it, it does not look like it doesn't. The both ends are the same. The interior is the same, so I'm going to say these are not directional. So it also doesn't look like it's going to stay on either one of these very well. So it looks like you'll be able to spin it right on. No problem whatsoever. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and test these nipples again. Like I said, these are 3/4 inch MIP by 1.5 inch. So they're MIP, not NPT, which hopefully is not a problem. And it absolutely is not a problem. So I did see someone install these before, and he didn't use pipe tape, so or thread tape. Sorry. So I do have some thread sealant here, and I'm going to go ahead and use a thread sealant. It's over there. Yeah. So what I want to do first is install this thread sealant, this thread tape, because yeah, you never know. You just want to make sure the thread tape's on there. You just kind of go ahead and thread it on. The way I thread it on is kind of, I always do it like reverse, like you're reverse threading the pipe nipple or whatever fitting you're doing, so that as you thread it on, it's going against, it's actually tightening that thread tape down as you go ahead and tighten that onto whatever you're going to use. And in a minute here, you'll see what we're going to attach this to. Like I said before, it's pretty much looks the same on the inside of the RV under the bed. And then what do I do? A repair on the bed. The bed on this stupid former rental RV has some issues, and it's going to be really nice for us to fix that, so my son doesn't fall through his bed and wake us up in the middle of the night. It's not a very long fall. My daughter's on the top bunk. We'll probably fix that eventually as well. Probably not today. Maybe we'll see what kind of time I have today. But yeah, if we can fix that one as well. She's a little higher. I don't want her to fall down on our sun, even though I think it's okay right now. It's not going to fall, even if those. I mean, you'll see here in a second they're already broken. But I think the border on the exterior is going to keep that plywood up just fine. But yeah, again, I'm going to finish this pipe thread up, just like so. Pretty easy. Just again, make sure these don't leak, especially where it's going to be. It's going to be inside the RV, underneath the bed. So you know, it might be hard to see that leak. It is on a slide out, so we'll probably be seeing it out there. But you know, I'll probably check this periodically just to make sure this thing is not leaking, because I do not want a leak. No one does in your RV. All right, so let's go ahead and tighten these down as snug as I can get them. I've just got some channel locks here, and I will carefully stay in the center of this pipe to ensure that I'm on the non-threaded portion and not damaging any threads. Yeah, it's tightening pretty well with that thread tape. Oh yeah, there we go. And then I'll tighten this way. And then we'll find out which way this thing actually attaches, because like I said, that was the first time we opened the box at the store. Haven't had this box open since then, so this is truly an unboxing also. Oh, there we go. All right, so that's tightened down. This guy is actually in. You know, one thing I've seen that these do come with, that this one does not, that I was hoping it comes with. Let me check in this box here. I don't think so. Is a bracket. Some of these have a bracket, and I'm sure I can look one up on Amazon. I'm sure it's not that expensive, but you can see the 4 holes. There's 4 holes here, and there's a bracket that would mount this. You know, just I guess you can mount it vertically, but I'm gonna mount this horizontally, and I don't think there's going to be an issue with mounting this horizontally. I'll look it up and I'll let you guys know. But I haven't seen anything on here that says you can't mount it horizontally. So yeah, and it's just water pressure, so I don't see any reason why you'd have to mount it horizontally. If I'm wrong, I'm sure if anybody actually eventually does watch this video, there'll be plenty of comments about why it's wrong, and also if it truly is wrong, I'm sure I will absolutely find out that it's wrong because of how it is and how it's supposed to work, and it probably won't work. So, all right, this guy's together. These are here, and I'm ready for this. So we're going to move on to actually putting this in. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so I know there is and isn't some debate on there is debate on absolutely on what constitute an actual bunkhouse. So this is a Thor Ace, 30.2. I think some people like to call it a bunkhouse. Others just say it's got bunks in it. But yeah, so here I am walking in the door, and as you come in the door, on the right here is the couch, and then the cockpit area. What is above the cockpit area there is another bunk, so that's a separate bunk. I wouldn't count that as part of being a bunkhouse, but it does have a bunk over the cab. And then as you scroll across here, or swing across here, we've got the booth, dinette, and we've got the kitchen here. And then you got a pass-through bathroom, head, latrine, whatever you want to call it. You've got the refrigerator, so that's a commercial refrigerator with a inverter. So the only thing the inverter runs while we're down the road is the refrigerator. The entry as well. And then here are the bunks as you head back between the bathroom and the master bedroom. The bunks are oriented here on the slide, so they slide out. And this again, or for some, and maybe we'll talk about this later in another video, this was a rental RV, so it's got a lot of issues. One of them is the bunk here, and what I'll show you, I don't know if you can see over that way already, is there's a little light over there. I think maybe some rodents have chewed up through that. It's kind of a cloth where all these wires can slide in and out as the bunk room slides in and out. But here are the supports. These are supports for the bunks. Every single support is separated. So I'm going to take this off in a minute here. So every one of these supports here is messed up. We're going to take these off here eventually and pull them off. But yeah, that's one of the things that are oddly broken on this. And then, you know, some of the weird things. So right here, here is our, yeah, here that's where the water comes in from outside, where the city water connection is. What I'm going to do is go ahead and get to replacing that and see if see how easy that is. And I think we're going to put this other filter right here. But hopefully this is a pretty simple fix. As I look here and see extra butt connectors and wiring issues. Yeah, we'll get into this thing soon enough. All right, let's get to it. All right, so I don't know which view we're going to have that's going to be best here, but again, what we've got is the hose connection that comes in from the outside, the city water connection, I think is what it's typically called. But one of the most important things I think here is one of the important thing here is the towel. Make sure I've got a towel here. Get some of these wires out of the way. Now this looks like, yeah, this connector has had its own day once. So, all right, let's make sure the rodents. There's some rodent poop there. Let's put this under here. Take this off and see if these fittings are going to be exactly what we need. So, let's loosen this bad boy here and take her off. All right. So, you know, I was expecting that this was a hose that's disconnecting this way, but I wasn't 100% sure. So the good news is this is exactly what I thought it was. So good. All right, so we're gonna twist this guy off of here. Hopefully the water doesn't come spraying out at us, because I did drain it pretty well. And success. So I have succeeded here. What is this here? It's got some kind of it's got a rubber gasket, which part of the hose it goes to, but I'm going to keep it in. Alright, I can't decide. I don't know which end I want to keep this. It's got a rubber, it's got a little rubber, it's more than a washer. It's like a deep washer, and I think I can't decide where I want it to go. I can't decide if I want it in. Come on, you piece of junk. Pull this washer back out of here. Don't rip it. All right. So since I've got pipe thread on that one, oh man, there's pipe thread already on that one there. You know what? I'm gonna. Definitely won't fit on that. Definitely won't fit on this. I have a feeling that I'm already behind the power curve with this guy, because we already have a problem. This is not the size. Okay. So I've already got a problem. This does not fit. Alright, well I guess we're going to have to go back, because this is not going to work whatsoever, since this fitting is not a 3/4 inch MIP fitting, and this standard hoses won't work. So I'm going to have to go back and find out what this one is. It looks like it's a 1/2 inch fitting, and then switch from the 1/2. Find some type of reducer from 1/2 to 3/4. Alright, well I guess this is going back together until we can fix this, find the appropriate fitting, and make it work. Alright, well, that was fun. Alright guys, I'm back. It's been a couple of days after a trip or two to Home Depot. And a couple of Amazon deliveries. I think I've got this thing dialed in. Should be pretty easy to put this thing together. What I did have to do was go and switch out these fittings. So these fittings really, I had to get from Amazon. They're 3/4 to 1/2. Everything in this RV is 1/2. So this thing had 3/4 fittings. I did not have these fittings in brass or anything acceptable besides from sprinkler systems at home or at Lowe's. I'm sorry. So I had to get these brass fittings off of Amazon, which ended up being cheaper, And then this half-inch to half-inch hose, which is all I'm going to need to hook it up to the RV. I went ahead and got a bracket again off of Amazon. So again, and then I've got a couple screws. So the filter itself is about 22 bucks. This hose is $7. These fittings were $8 a piece. And then this bracket was about $9. So all in, we're at about $53. So 53 bucks for this isn't bad. And then if you throw in that $15 blue filter, which I'll show later, that I think I'm going to put on the hose end as a higher micron fitting, or more like the sediment filter. You could get one of the 3/4 like I had, put two of these together and do sediment and the charcoal filter like we got here. But I think we're good to go. And then I'll have to remember what these cost. So you're a little bit more, but buying these in 2 packs is actually pretty inexpensive, so it's not too bad at all. All right, here we are back at it. Here's the fitting there that I'm going to pop off here in a second. And what I did do while, I don't know if I'll show this or not, but what I did do in the middle of this was pop the front of the bed off. Put drilled some holes and fix this bed, so this bed's going to be good and sturdy when we're done. But all right, well, let's go ahead and get this done. Hopefully I can set you up in a good spot to see what I'm doing here, and shouldn't take long at all, I think, to knock this out. I love these little channel locks. Had these things forever. Automotive fit purposes, fits right in your pocket. Do anything with them. They are great. All right, so I got the hose off. First thing I'm gonna do is one of the first things I'm gonna put this other braided hose on here. Do have to remember, however, there is, what the heck can I use? There is a come out of there. There's a rubber fitting in the end of this, almost like an O-ring. There it is. There we go. Yeah, there's a rubber O-ring. It's made more for this. Now it's inside of there. Should seal up just fine. We'll see how it goes. All right, I'm gonna put this guy on there. We'll need to find a good spot to mount this filter so that the filter, this hose isn't kinked. It doesn't interfere with anything else down here. What's really important, this guy's going to go right about there. So this guy is going to go, this is where we're going, right here, right there. Alright, well, that's where it's going to go. I'll tell you what, pre-drilling holes is always the preferred method. Even if my battery's going dead on the drill. Alright. Feels like it'll be good. I decided to go with the 2 top holes because it's just going to be harder to get the drill in to do the bottom hole. So let me tighten it up. That's that little rubber grommet in there that we were looking at before. Rubber O-ring. It's not. It also looks like it'd be restricting, but these hoses aren't very big anyway, so I think the whole system in this RV is restrictive, not necessarily. Alright, not necessarily perfect for this. Let me tighten this guy down one last time. Oh yeah, she's already tight. She's pretty tight there. It's gonna kind of rest on these wires. I think that'll be fine. I think it's gonna mess with anything over here. Alright, so I guess we're ready to hook this thing up, test her out, and that's it. That's all there is to it. Yeah, here's the final setup here. Obviously we've got the inlet hose there, coming into the inside, the in of the filter, and then coming out back to this hose that was originally that's originally here. So yeah, we could pressurize the system, see what we got, and maybe even plug in, hook up our hose. We'll probably show a little bit of that and then get to it. All right, so yeah, here's the setup. Pardon the noise if you can hear the RV running, but here's the setup that we have for the water hoses, which is really cool. I really like these totes. If you don't have the totes, especially for water, if they leak a little bit, you got no problem whatsoever. And then these hoses here, these self-expanding hoses are freaking awesome. This one over here, this is one we're going to run all the way to the spigot, and then I'll hook it up to this one, and this is 250 footers, I believe. So one of them is going to be only for black water flushing. I might need to use a little extra, but I've got the two backwash ends to do backwash flushing, but this is just the extra spare. So again, I'm going to hook up the blue filter as my pre-filter, so that'll go at the spigot, and then we'll run this hose right into our exterior, outside city water connection. All right, let's do it. All right, so we are connected here. Just one thing that I don't like about these hoses is that when they are condensed, they don't actually open up very, they're not as long as they should be, so you actually can't get to where you need to be. If they're a 50-foot hose, you can't get 50 feet until it's actually got some water in it. So maybe having a valve at the end. So as you can see here, this is not hooked to the spigot because I've got my extension on there, but yeah, first thing I do have here is the water pressure regulator, and then the little spring safety, just to save on the stress on the hose, and then it's hooked to the blue pre-filter. I'll call that a pre-filter. One thing I don't like is kind of the ends of this hose. This is a nicer water safe hose. I just don't like the end of this hose here, but it's not too bad. And then here as we come to the side, it's hooked up nicely, not leaking, so this setup's pret's pretty good. We'll go inside and we'll check out if it's leaking, and then turn the water on inside and flush it out. All right, now that we're inside, it's all, the water's on. Make sure there's no leaks here. I don't see any leaks. Looks to be pretty dry. A tiny bit of dampness, but I think that's from previously. We'll make sure there isn't any. No leaks there. Yeah, she's pretty dry. All right, so since that is a charcoal filter, I'm gonna want to go ahead and run the water here. One of the things that when we first hooked up the blue filter, we filled up a dog dish, and our dogs kind of threw up afterwards because of that charcoal in there. They didn't really get sick. It was just a one-time thing, but you want to be careful with that charcoal water. But yeah, we'll see how much fresher the water is on our trip here coming up pretty soon. I'm sure it won't be too bad. All right, guys, I guess that's it. This filter system is installed. It's doing pretty good. It's like $70 total, even if you count the other filter and all the fittings. So we're doing pretty well. We've stayed within a really good budget. Some of those things can be quite expensive, and even if you add that other, if you want to add the filter inside of the RV, if you want to add the bigger sediment filter, I mean, you're talking another $22. So you're looking at, like, instead of $70, you're at like $90, right under $100. So yeah, you'll add about $30 with that other fitting when you put those two together. And I probably had just barely enough room. There are those wires in the way. It might have been a little tough. I could have actually mounted it to the bottom of the bed. That would have worked as well, or created a brace across that framing to mount it to. If I wanted to do dual filters, but I don't think I need dual filters. We think the one filter is going to be fine, and keeping the blue one on the end, I think I'll even get more life out of that one, because it's really just a sediment filter, and it's just to stop some of the particles, where the one in the RV is actually the charcoal filter, and it's going to do us really well. So yeah, thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. And I think we've got some other cool content we've got planned for this. This RV is a really unique RV. We'd like to talk about that. Why we got this RV, because this RV, we didn't start with this RV. We started with a 27 foot, so 27, obviously the number is so a little longer than that, but a 27 foot travel trailer, and we stepped up to this one this summer. Great reasons for both, really about our family and economics, and really breaking it down. I think it will make a cool video. So we could talk about those things and show you guys about this RV, why it's so unique, why we might have made a mistake buying it. But yeah, stick around and we'll definitely talk about those things in the future. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, my name's Ken. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're in the RV, so we're going to talk about... no, we're not. All right, guys. If you don't know, it's been a couple of days. Welcome back. Welcome back. You're not coming back.